Witchcraft is rising. Across the world, more and more people are stepping into their power, reconnecting with ancient ways, and embracing their true selves. But what does it really mean to be Wiccan, pagan, or simply a modern witch? And how can you step into this path unapologetically? What if I told you that the ancient ways, the beliefs and practices of our ancestors, are still alive today, hidden in plain sight? That in every sunrise, every gust of wind, and every beat of your heart, there's a powerful magic waiting to be awakened? Welcome to Soul, Tarot, and Witchcraft, where we're on a journey to explore the path of the modern witch, a journey that's steeped in history, ancient wisdom, and spiritual freedom. Whether you're just discovering this world or already walking the path, this video will guide you through the deeper meanings of Wicca, paganism, and global traditions of witchcraft. If you're ready to embrace your inner power, this is where your journey begins. What it means to be a Wiccan Wicca, as it's known today, is one of the fastest growing spiritual movements in the world, yet it remains deeply misunderstood. Some see it as a new religion, while others claim it's part of an ancient continuum of human spirituality. But what does it really mean to be Wiccan? Wicca is both a spiritual practice and a way of life. It draws from ancient pagan traditions, but has evolved into something distinct, something uniquely suited to our modern world. At its core, Wicca is a nature-based religion, one that reveres the cycles of the earth, the phases of the moon, and the interconnectedness of all living things. It is a path that honors both the feminine and masculine energies of the divine, often referred to as the goddess and the god, and seeks balance in all things. But Wicca isn't just about reverence for nature, it's about empowerment. Wiccans believe in the power of personal will and intention. Through rituals, spells, and meditative practices, they shape their reality in accordance with their highest good. The essence of Wicca is not about worshiping deities in the traditional sense, but about forming a personal relationship with the divine energies that exist all around us and within us. The Wiccan Rede, the ethical code of Wicca, reminds practitioners to harm none and do what ye will. This simple yet profound statement underscores the importance of personal responsibility in Wiccan practice. Wiccans strive to live in harmony with the world around them, making choices that honor the balance of nature and the well-being of all living creatures. Paganism and its connection to Wicca. Paganism is a term that encompasses a vast array of belief systems and traditions, most of which predate the advent of Christianity. Paganism is often rooted in the worship of nature, the celebration of seasonal cycles, and the belief in many gods and goddesses. Unlike monotheistic religions, paganism often embraces polytheism, the idea that divinity can manifest in many forms, both masculine and feminine, and often tied to elements of nature such as the sun, the moon, the earth, and the stars. To truly understand Wicca, we need to understand paganism, as Wicca is one of the many modern expressions of this ancient spiritual lineage. The word pagan itself comes from the Latin word paganus, meaning country dweller or rural folk, highlighting the deeply earth-centered nature of these traditions. Pagans revere the cycles of the earth, the solstices, the equinoxes, the phases of the moon, and Wiccans have adopted these same practices, particularly the celebration of the 8 Sabbats of the Wheel of the Year. Wiccans celebrate 8 major holidays, or sabbats, each marking a significant moment in the Earth's yearly cycle. From Yule, the winter solstice, where the light returns after the longest night, to Beltane, the celebration of fertility and life at the height of spring, these sabbats connect Wiccans to the rhythms of the natural world. This connection is one of the most important ways in which Wicca echoes its pagan roots. But while many of Wicca's practices are drawn from ancient paganism, Wicca as a religion is a relatively modern creation, brought to public awareness in the 1950s by Gerald Gardner, an English civil servant and occultist. Gardner claimed to have been initiated into a surviving coven of witches practicing ancient pre-Christian traditions, and while the historical accuracy of this claim is debated, what is clear is that Gardner played a pivotal role in shaping what we now know as Wicca, the diverse pagan traditions that influence Wicca. While Wicca draws heavily from European paganism, it is by no means limited to one tradition. In fact, Wicca is deeply eclectic, drawing on spiritual practices and beliefs from a wide range of cultures and time periods. Let's start with the Celtic tradition, one of the most significant influences on modern Wicca. The Celts were an ancient people who lived across much of Europe, from Ireland and Scotland to France and Spain. They were known for their deep connection to nature, their belief in magic, and their reverence for the cycles of life and death. Celtic spirituality is animistic, meaning that the Celts believed everything in nature, from trees and rivers to animals and stones, possessed a spirit or consciousness. They saw the divine in the natural world and believed that humans could communicate with these spiritual forces through ritual and prayer. Druids, the priests and priestesses of Celtic society, were revered for their wisdom, their knowledge of the natural world, and their ability to communicate with the gods and spirits. Many of the rituals and practices of Wicca today are inspired by Celtic traditions. For example, the Celtic festival of Samhain, a celebration of the end of the harvest and a time to honor the dead, has been adopted by Wiccans as one of their major sabbats. Similarly, the Celtic reverence for the elements earth, air, fire, and water is reflected in Wiccan rituals, where these elements are often invoked to create sacred space. But the influence of ancient Egypt on Wicca and witchcraft should not be overlooked. In ancient Egypt, magic or Heka was an integral part of life. The Egyptians believed that magic was a force that could be used to heal, protect, and influence the world around them. Their rituals were deeply connected to the gods and goddesses of their pantheon, particularly Isis, the goddess of magic, fertility and motherhood, and Thoth, the god of wisdom and writing. These deities, along with others like Osiris, have found their way into the practices of many modern witches. Egyptian magical practices, such as the use of amulets, symbols like the Ankh, and spells to protect the dead in the afterlife, continue to inspire Wiccans and other practitioners of witchcraft today. This connection to ancient wisdom, along with the belief in the power of symbols and rituals, is a common thread that runs through many magical traditions. Witchcraft and paganism through history. The history of witchcraft is as rich and complex as the traditions that practice it. In the UK, witchcraft has a long and storied past, one that has been both revered and reviled over the centuries. The ancient Druids were some of the earliest practitioners of magic in the British Isles, and their influence can still be felt today in the rituals of modern witches. But the path of the witch has not always been easy. Throughout much of European history, witches have been persecuted, particularly during the infamous witch hunts of the 16th and 17th centuries. In the UK, hundreds of people, mostly women, were accused of witchcraft and executed, their only crime being their connection to the old ways of paganism. This persecution was not limited to the UK. In the United States, the infamous Salem witch trials saw 20 people executed for practicing witchcraft, and in Europe, tens of thousands were killed. But even in the face of this oppression, the practice of witchcraft never truly died. In secret, women and men continued to practice the old ways, passing down their knowledge through whispered words and hidden rituals. Today, we are witnessing a revival of these ancient practices as more and more people are reclaiming the title of witch. In the UK and around the world, modern witchcraft is experiencing a resurgence as people seek to reconnect with the earth, the elements, and their own inner power. Embracing your identity as a witch or pagan, one of the most powerful aspects of witchcraft and paganism is the way it encourages personal empowerment and self-acceptance. For many, stepping onto the path of the witch is not just about practicing magic, it's about embracing who you truly are. Being a witch or a pagan in today's world can be challenging. Society has spent centuries demonizing these practices, painting witches as evil and pagans as primitive. But in reality, witchcraft and paganism are paths of love, harmony, and respect for the natural world. To embrace your identity as a witch or a pagan is to embrace your own power. It's about understanding that you are a part of something greater, that the divine flows through you, and that you have the ability to shape your own reality. Whether you are casting spells, meditating, or simply walking in nature, you are engaging in an ancient practice that connects you to the earth and to the universe. Remember that this path is yours to shape. There is no one right way to be a witch or a pagan. Whether you feel called to Wicca, Druidry, or another form of paganism, what matters most is that you are true to yourself and your own spiritual journey. Don't be afraid to explore different practices, to experiment with rituals, or to create your own. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Soul, Tarot, and Witchcraft for more videos on spiritual empowerment, witchcraft, and the magical world. We're building a community of modern witches, pagans, and spiritual seekers, and we'd love for you to join us on this journey.